Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is a great pleasure to welcome you all to the second Japan-Africa Public-Private Economic Forum plenary session. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for being here with us today. We are ready to begin our event. My name is Yvonne Aquara, and I will be taking you through our morning session here today. We are delighted to see all of you participants from Japan, Kenya, and other African countries, and that is including those in the private sector, business persons, as well as government officials. And we're hoping today and really looking forward to a constructive and thoughtful discussion and engagement, and all of that geared towards continuing to strengthen and deepen the economic relationship between Japan and Africa as business partners. Wonderful sessions we're looking forward to this morning. I will shortly be joined by the co-chairs of today's forum. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Ms. Betty Maina, the Cabinet Secretary for Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development for the Republic of Kenya. Also, State Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry in Japan, that's Mr. Kenichi Hosoda, and Ms. Takako Suzuki, State Minister for Foreign Affairs in Japan. Ladies and gentlemen, please give them a round of applause as they make their way into our plenary session here this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a warm round of applause. Honorable Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your time here with us today. We are ready to begin our session today. To give us our welcoming remarks for this morning plenary session, I'm delighted to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, Ambassador Peter Karimi Kaberia. He's the Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development of the Republic of Kenya. Ambassador Kaberia, welcome.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. Honorable Betty Maina, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development. His Excellency Kenichi Hosoda, State Minister for Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan. Your Excellency Takako Suzuki, State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Japan. Ministers and deputy ministers from all over Africa, His Excellency Ken Okinawa, Ambassador of Japan to Kenya, Mr. Kazunge Nobutani, President, Japan External Trade Jetro, government officials and representatives, chiefs of industry, members of the diplomatic corps, business actors from Africa and Japan, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all here today in Nairobi, Kenya, as we commence the second Japan-Africa Public Investment Economic Forum. We are gathered here today for discussion aimed at further strengthening our collaboration in various fields, including trade, investment, energy, among others. This forum progresses from the previous discussions held during the first Japan-Africa Public-Private Economic Forum held in May 2018 in South Africa. We thank everyone from the organizers in Japan, those in Kenya, and all over Africa for ensuring that this forum is indeed a success. May I equally take this opportunity to greatly acknowledge the strong and cordial relations prevailing between the governments of the Republic of Japan and the Republic of Kenya and the African continent in general. As the world continually moves to green and digital infrastructure, we can only purpose to be at par with the rest of the world. In the field of industrialization, Africa acknowledges and generally appreciates the important and valuable role played by Japan in advancing industrialization in Africa and also globally. The Japanese companies, through human resource development, technology, and skills transfer, have immensely contributed to industrialization in Africa. I note that this forum is attended by senior-level government officials from Japan and Africa, the private sector, which shows the importance accorded to this meeting. It is therefore my pleasure to welcome all of you to Nairobi for the discussions that will follow. I take this opportunity to say karibu sana to Kenya. Kenya is open for business and we are ready for you, and so is Africa. Welcome, Yvonne. Take us through to the next stage. Thank you very much.
Ambassador Kaberia, thank you very much for that warm welcome. And now we're ready to hear the opening remarks from the three co-chairs of today's forum. First, it is my great pleasure to welcome the Cabinet Secretary for Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development of the Republic of Kenya. Ladies and gentlemen, Madam Cabinet Secretary, Ms. Betty Maina, welcome to the podium.
Habari ya asubuhi. Good morning. I need to, konnichiwa, is it? Yes, konnichiwa. Thank you very much, Minister Hosada, Minister Suzuki, all government representatives and ministers from other parts of Africa, the business community. I'd like to really, on behalf of my colleagues in government in Kenya, we welcome you to Nairobi this morning, and we want to thank you for participating in this plenary session of the second Japan-Africa Public-Private Economic Forum. It is indeed a great honor to be jointly organizing and hosting this with the government of Japan. This builds on the partnership we started with hosting TICAD 6 here in Nairobi. We acknowledge the dedicated, strong support accorded to Africa by Japan in promoting high-level policy dialogue among African leaders, development partners, and the international community. This forum has brought together African and Japanese public sector, the captains of industry, and the private sector champions to solidify their cooperation and collaboration. This year marks 29 years of notable achievements since the initiation of TICAD in 1993. The TICAD summits have served as a multinational cooperation framework premised on the dual principles of African ownership and international partnership. Indeed, this plenary session is one of the implementation mechanisms that were developed to integrate follow-up commitments made from preceding sessions of TICAD. And now we'll be looking forward to receiving the progress reports since our meetings in Yokohama. Africa has been one of the fastest growing economies in the world, rich in natural resources and a fast-growing population, estimated to reach 2 billion in 2050. Trade relations between Africa and Asia have grown significantly in recent years. Japan and Africa have fairly reciprocal trade patterns and numbers, which is an excellent relationship. There are very many commendable strides that have been made to ensure positive development of Africa. This includes enhanced role of regional integration through the regional economic communities to expand industrialization, trade, and investments. Discussions that we held in the previous forum in December were under 5 broad themes of innovation, integration, industrialization, green and digital infrastructure, as well as accelerating finance solutions. The conclusion and signing of 15 MOUs between the public and the private sectors of African nations and Japan indicate deepening partnerships between the continent and yourselves. African governments are continually making policies and creating the environments for the growth of business and strides in these fields. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area is one of the successful flagship projects of the Africa Union's Agenda 2063. Africa is determined to engage in global value chains and enhance intra-African trade. The continent aims to also value add to its resources and diversify its product range for both the continent and the world markets. And we can do this faster and effectively in a cooperative and collaborative manner with like-minded and well-meaning partners. And we would like to consider Japan one of those. As we recover from COVID-19 and its impacts, the experience of African countries has necessitated the need to build up greater capacity in health and healthcare and medical commodities production. And these provide a great opportunity for partnership. As countries across the globe strive to recover and bounce back resiliently, our governments remain cognizant that digitization is critical. Digitization is critical, driven by infrastructural development, innovation, entrepreneurship, and the development of digital skills brought along by digital technologies. This will be the bedrock of our economic growth. Kenya and its East African neighbors and several countries in Africa have significantly improved the uptake of digital skills and enabled widespread adaptation to the prevailing technological trends in governance and trade facilitation. The future of development and industrialization in any country in the world cannot be achieved without the green economy and technology at its epicenter. To this end, the Kenya government has ensured that the green transition is prioritized, and I am pleased to say that Kenya has become a global leader in the same. Our energy mix is more than 70% renewable, and most of the 90% of our energy consumed is from green sources of energy, with a target of 100% clean energy by 2030. And we aim to achieve 100% access to clean cooking by 2028. We further made a commitment during COP26 at the UN Climate Change Conference to endorse the proposed Glasgow breakthroughs pertaining to power and green hydrogen in the energy sector. Commitments that have been followed by clear strategies and action plans that are well underway. These ambitions and strategies cannot be achieved without the partnership between the government and the private sector. Different technologies and applications have been discussed and ventured into where the government has taken the lead in supporting the private sector. While these achievements are commendable, there is still a long journey ahead, and we look forward to partners such as from Japan to reach these goals. Distinguished guests, this forum provides an avenue to revisit the issues we covered in the Yokohama Action Plan of 2019 and contribute to the ongoing preparations for the forthcoming TICAD to be held in Tunisia in August. To sustain this progress, Africa will need to deepen its relationships with countries like yourselves through greater trade, investment, and technological exchange. And therefore, this forum is critical and a valuable opportunity to further such ties. There are many opportunities for Japanese companies in areas with a lot of untapped potential in Africa, including agriculture, infrastructure, manufacturing, green energy, and health, among others. We invite Japanese investors to expand their presence on the Africa continent, which, among other things, would greatly facilitate industrialization, trade, and investment between Japan and Africa. I therefore once again welcome you to Nairobi, and I wish you great and successful deliberations as we seek to extend the impact and outcomes of this forum. Arigato gozaimasu, asante sana.
Madam Cabinet Secretary, Ms. Betty Maina, thank you very much for those wonderful opening remarks. And now to our second co-chair here of our morning plenary session, I'm delighted to welcome Mr. Kenichi Hosoda, State Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry in Japan. Welcome.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ohayo gozaimasu. Thank you for your introduction. I'm Hosoda Kenichi, State Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan. First of all, I'd like to express my heartfelt condolences and deepest sympathies to the Kenyan people regarding the passing of Honorable former President of Kenya, Mwai Kibaki. Honorable Ms. Betty Minor, Cabinet Secretary of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, ministers from African countries, and other distinguished guests, distinguished participants. I'd like to thank you all for coming to this forum today. It is an honor to be here on behalf of the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan for the opening of the plenary session of the second Japan-Africa Public-Private Economic Forum. I'd like to start by saying how deeply blessed I feel to finally hold the plenary session today, given the postponement of the plenary session, which was originally scheduled last December, but due to the outbreak of a new variant of COVID-19. I'd like to thank all the parties concerned, those of the government of Kenya, the host country, in particular for their efforts. I would also like to express our heartfelt welcome to all the representatives from both public and private sectors in Africa and Japan today. Here, I'd like to briefly introduce to you the participants from the Japanese private sector today, including a wide range of companies and institutions, headed by Mr. Karube Jun, Chairman of Sub-Saharan Africa Regional of Japan Business Federation, or KEIDAN. Thank you. And Mr. Iwai Mutsuo, Chairman of Africa Project Team of Japan Association of Corporate Executives. Thank you very much. Looking back on how difficult it was to come to Africa from Japan in the last 2 years under the COVID-19 pandemic situation, the presence of so many participants today is a clear sign of the strong commitment of the Japanese business community to develop further business cooperation with Africa. Last December, we had lively discussions in the thematic sessions online. I'd hope that, building upon these discussions, today's face-to-face communications will help high-level participants from both Japan and Africa renew their understandings of the importance of strengthening Japan-Africa public-private partnerships and deepening relations among the private sectors. With TCAT 8 in sight this summer, we have Ms. Suzuki Takako, State Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan, and Her Excellency, Ms. Nuira Gonji, Minister for Industry, Mines, and Energy of Tunisia, and the host country of TCAT 8. I hope we will have fruitful discussions on initiatives to be taken by both public and private sectors for the future. As you all know, Africa has been drawing the world's attention as a region of extremely high economic growth potential, with a continuing population growth and the increasing role of younger generations. In fact, Some of the Western countries and emerging economies already have a strong presence in Africa. On the other hand, to my regret, Japan has much room left untapped to enhance our economic relationships. Japan is very eager to contribute to the economic growth of Africa. Japanese companies with various technologies and know-hows can contribute to improving the quality of life of people in Africa, addressing social challenges and accelerating the growth of Africa, which will in turn allow Japan to grow with the vitality of Africa. Our aim is to nurture such a win-win relationships between Japan and Africa through public-private partnerships. This is the main goal of this forum. To this end, it is very important that more Japanese companies have the correct ideas of the rapid changes and growth by today's innovation in Africa. How best to utilize Japan's technologies and know-hows for collaboration with African companies and thereby seize business opportunities. From this point of view, METI and JETRO have decided to establish a hub for the J-Bridge program in Africa, which is a platform for promoting collaboration between Japanese companies and African startups. Under this program, JETRO will provide hands-on support for collaboration between Japanese and African companies through events and individual meeting arrangements. In addition to encouraging companies to enter Africa's market, I'd like to emphasize the importance of improving the business environment through this forum, so that firms already operating in Africa can feel securer and more optimistic and build long-lasting business relationships between Japan and Africa. The aim of this forum, as I explained, now leads us to the results of the thematic sessions online last December before this plenary session. The thematic session focused on innovation, economic integration, industrialization, greener and digitalized economy, and finance. More than 50 people from the Japanese and African governments, private companies, international organizations, and other institutions took the stage and held lively discussions on the potential and challenges of business in Africa. This provided many useful implications, including the future direction of initiatives to be taken by both sides. More especially on innovation, it was recognized that businesses, especially startups, that can help solve social challenges have been steadily growing despite the COVID-19 pandemic. In particular, healthcare, the broader green economy, and infrastructure were highlighted as areas of business opportunities. Promoting digital transformation, or DX, was widely recognized as a common key element in innovation. Turning to economic integration and industrialization, it was reaffirmed that Japan can be beneficial business partner for the industrialization in Africa with its technologies and experiences, and that for improving the business environment and promoting business activities in Africa. It was important to develop free and open trade economies and to steadily implement programs for human resource development. Furthermore, it was reconfirmed that high standard investment agreements are effective in improving the business environment, which would lead to further investments in Africa. As for greener and digitalized economy, for the pursuit of sustainable development of Africa, it was widely shared that, considering the situation of Africa, which highly varies from country to country, as well as from region to region, Japan can provide more realistic and effective solutions towards the dissemination of clean energy and the establishment of digital infrastructure, which have become increasingly important in the recent years. Furthermore, on finance, to meet diversifying financial needs coming from the expansion of business fields and players, it was emphasizing that it would be necessary to further utilize new finance schemes and deepen cooperation with international organizations and financial institutions in Africa. In December last year, as many as 15 MOUs and partnerships were signed and announced as one of concrete outcomes together with a summary document of the thematic sessions. For details, please refer to the handout distributed to you, the MOU list attached to the summary document. In addition, new memorandums have been additionally signed at today's plenary session. They are to be introduced later. Excellencies, distinguished guests, and all participants, the Japan-Africa Public-Private Economic Forum is a framework that was launched as Japan's initiative at TICAD 6 here in Nairobi in 2016. Thus, I'm highly delighted to be able to hold this forum here today, the place of origin of this initiative. And it is the very first business forum that brings together high-level public and private sectors from Japan and Africa since the outbreak of COVID-19. I'd like to conclude my opening remarks with the hope that today will be an important opportunity to further strengthen the economic relationships between Japan and Africa. Thank you for all your kind attention. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Minister Hosoda. And it is indeed a pleasure to have you with us here in Nairobi, Kenya. We look forward to you having a great session with all of us here today. And now it is my great pleasure to welcome Ms. Takako Suzuki, State Minister for Foreign Affairs in Japan. Welcome.
Honorable Ms. Betty Chemtai-Maina, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development of the Republic of Kenya, Excellencies and distinguished guests, I am Suzuki Takako, State Minister for Foreign Affairs of Japan. It is my great honor to speak at the plenary session of the second Japan-Africa Public-Private Economic Forum. I would like to extend my respect and my heartfelt appreciation to Honorable Ms. Maina and the government of the Republic of Kenya for their extensive cooperation in hosting this forum, even amid the difficult time. I served as the acting chair at the TICAD ministerial meeting held in March. In the session of economy, I found encouraging by the fact that Japan and Africa shared the view. As African countries pointed out, private investment is indispensable to build back better from the COVID-19. This public-private economic forum is an excellent opportunity to drive momentum in the field of business cooperation toward Ticket 8 in August, as Japanese and African public-private sectors assemble. Though I'm truly delighted visiting Nairobi with Mr. Hosoda, Hosoda Kenichi, State Minister for Economy, Trade, and Industry of Japan. Excellencies, distinguished guests, Russia's recent aggression against Ukraine is an attempt to unilaterally change the status quo by force. Such outrageous action shake the very foundations of the international order. It is absolutely unacceptable, and Japan condemns it in the strongest term. At a time like this, seeing the fragility of African economies due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which hit Africa after Ticket 7, 2019, and the situation in Ukraine, Japan's efforts to further promote private investment in order to realize a better economic recovery and advance SDGs. It is an initiative by entrepreneurs who will carve out a new business frontier. In particular, innovation has been dramatically leapfrogging in Africa, such as digital transformation with the emergence of the Japanese African youth, who are trying to solve social issues with innovative ideas. I'm talking about you guys. To encourage such younger entrepreneurs, the role of government is important to promote the use of innovation and technology as a driving force. Japan has been devoted particularly to support the activities of private sectors by human resource development, productivity improvement. For instance, Japan has nurtured the human resources to be a bridge between Japan and Africa through the Abe Initiative, which invites the African youth to Japan and provides professional education and the business programs such as internship opportunities at enterprises. Japan also assisted African entrepreneurs by polishing and matching projects through Project Next Innovation with Japan, known as NINJA. I feel very promising to hear that alumni of these projects play very active roles here in Kenya and as well as other African countries. To make the utmost use of such human resource and to pave a way for new frontier of African business, it is imperative to create a favorable business environment. In this regard, we welcome Africa's political will towards regional integration through the African Continental Free Trade Area. It is also true that various challenges remain to make Africa more attractive as an investment destination. The key of promoting trade and investment lies in good governance, transparency, and predictability, and political stability. Japan will advance cooperation that enables Africa to take a lead in solving these challenges. Excellencies, distinguished guests, the government of Japan is determined to continuously contribute to enhancing ownership of Africa by promoting business in Africa through the TICAD process under public-private partnership. And I would like to highlight that no place is more decent than TICAD to promote the vision, the Africa we want, that Africa itself envisages in Agenda 2063. Thank you for your attention. Asanteni sana. ありがとうございました。
Karibu sana, Madam Suzuki. We thank you for your opening remarks, and we're thankful to our three co-chairs for their wonderful opening remarks to our morning plenary session, and we're now ready to listen to our first speech session. Now, in this session, you are going to hear from the Japan External Trade Organization, who is the co-host of this forum, as well as representatives from the Japanese and African business communities. And all of them together will give us a broad range of insights on the development of the economic relationship between Japan and Africa, a relationship that is considered an important partnership for both regions. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to introduce to you Mr. Kazushige Nobutani, who is the president of Japan External Trade Organization, JETRO. Mr. Nobutani, welcome. Karibu sana.
Good morning. Ohayou gozaimasu. Jumbo. Your Excellencies, Betty Minor, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, the Republic of Kenya. Osoda Kenichi, State Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan. Suzuki Takako, State Minister for Foreign Affairs of Japan. Okaniwa Ken, Japanese Ambassador to the Republic of Kenya. Tabu Irina, Kenya Ambassador to Japan. All number of ministers and business leaders from Africa and Japan, distinguished guests and friends, welcome to the forum today. I am Nobutani Kazushige, the president of JETRO. It is my great honor to deliver a few words to all of you. Africa is vibrant. This is true. Japan is silent. This is not true. Japan is reliable aid partner. This is true. Japan is good business partner. This is also true. Let me give some examples. In Kenya, in this country, world-class geothermal power plants are providing green energy to all of you. In Morocco, Japanese companies are the largest employer today. Cars, engines on fisherman's boat, or mosquito net, etc. are fundamental products for you to grow, but they are not everything. Japanese men and women who smile gently in this room will provide you more today. And that is why JETRO organizes today's event. First offer they may bring relates to opportunity. During pandemic of COVID-19, in a difficult economic situations, several Japanese blue-chip companies made a profit record in their history. They have robust business network around the globe and large sum of money to invest. Second offer is technologies. Japan has promised to be carbon neutral by 2050. Our industry will provide green technologies to achieve this goal. They have the most sophisticated technology base in the world. Third one is human resources. We have very active startups working in and with Africa who decided to change the world by their own hand. So money, networks, technologies, active talent are today's offer from us. But if you are very greedy, and you may say, give us more. So I have special offer today to you. Japan is the most trusted trademark in the world. So we will guide you every corner in the world to expand your potential of business. JETRO has 9 offices in Africa. The oldest ones are in Cairo and Lagos, which date back to 1955. Nairobi office was opened in 1957. So we are old business friend with Africa. Governments in Africa work hard to improve business environment. JETRO is always happy to work with you to do more for us and provide views of Japanese businesses. JETRO will connect you to Japanese business community by online or offline or through J-bridges, as State Minister Mr. Hosoda announced. So ladies and gentlemen, please don't be shy to find your business partner today, even if you wear masks. Thank you very much.
Indeed, some great encouragement there from you, Mr. Nobutani, which is what we are here to do today. Thank you very much for that. And of course, our co-host of this forum. And now, ladies and gentlemen, my great pleasure to welcome Mr. Jun Karube, the chairman of the board of Toyota Tsusho Corporation, the chair of Japan Business Federation, and honorary consul of the Honorary Consulate of the Republic of Kenya in Nagoya. Mr. Karube, welcome.
Thank you for this opportunity to talk with you as the chairman Keidan Ren's Committee on Sub-Saharan Africa. I'm delighted to take part in this gathering with public and private sector leaders from our host nation of Kenya, from other African nations, and from Japan. Africa is rightly the subject of mounting attention from around the world. Its appeal begins with the familiar assets of a vast land mass and a population of more than 1 billion. But Africa's appeal has become far more. Africa is the world leader in growth potential. We see that potential unfolding a rapid progress in digitalization and in a wave of entrepreneurship. Africa's nations are coming to terms with fundamental issues such as shortage of water, food, and electricity, insufficient infrastructure, environmental deterioration, and inadequate sanitation. I'm confident that resolving those issues will set the stage for sustainable economic growth and for lasting prosperity. For more, in mind here is the long-term vision that the African Union adopted 7 years ago as Agenda 2063. I understand that vision to be a roadmap for autonomous transportation in support of achieving economic integration, attaining sustainable development, resolving social issues, and fulfilling the UN Sustainable Development Goals. African nations are taking ownership of their destiny. Their stance meshes closely with the Keidan Ren vision, dubbed Society 5.0 for SDGs. That vision calls for making the most of innovative technologies to fulfill the UN Sustainable Development Goals by driving economic development while simultaneously addressing fundamental challenges for society. We in Japanese business are committed to tackling Africa's issues hand in hand with African partners. We are determined to continue to fulfilling the vision of Agenda 2063. Tackling African issues through business was an important focus last December at meetings of the subcommittees of this economic forum. The subcommittees addressed such subjects as nurturing startup enterprises, honoring green criteria, and promoting digitalization. We will now follow up on what we covered then. Japanese company will deploy technology, human resources, and know-how. We will deploy those resources in Africa to help solve shortages of electric power and water, to help forestall climate change, to help prevent air and water pollution, and to help cope with healthcare challenges. Kenya and several other African nations share with Japan the target of achieving carbon neutrality by 2050. Japanese companies are working with African partners to develop energy infrastructure in accordance with local circumstances in each nation. That will conclude participating in developing renewable energies, biomass power, hydrogen power, power distribution systems, and power storage capacity. In addition, we will help put in place capacity for recovering and recycling waste, for purifying water, for desalinating seawater, for processing sewage, and for engineering smart cities. In addition, we will help ensure access to quality healthcare by sharing Japanese technology, know-how, and experience. That will include helping to build and operate medical facilities, providing pharmaceuticals, medical equipment, and sanitary products, and training healthcare personnel. My company, Toyota Tsusho, is providing transport for vaccines. We have secured the first certification for a refrigerated transport vehicle for vaccines under the World Health Organization's performance, quality, and safety standards. We have delivered 16 vehicles in Ghana, in Niger, and through Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, in other African nations. And we are preparing to deliver more in nations across the continent. Translating Japanese technology and hardware into growth and sustainable development for African nations will depend on human resources. That is why we at Japanese companies have worked through our operations here over the years and decades to cultivate human potential. For example, we at Toyota Tsusho opened the Toyota Kenya Academy 8 years ago. The academy trains service engineers for automobiles and for agricultural machinery and for construction equipment. It also provides training in business management for prospect managers and entrepreneurs. The training is for men and women at our operations in Kenya and also for students, for unemployed individuals, and for others who want to gain useful skills. We are thus strive to make a lasting contribution to fortifying the industrial foundation in Kenya. In that spirit, we at Japanese companies will continue working to maximize our contribution to industrial and economic vitality in Africa. In closing, let me thank you again for this opportunity to visit Kenya and to meet with you in person. I am happy that we have taken this opportunity despite the restrictions imposed by COVID-19. Let us pray for the earliest possible end to the COVID-19 pandemic. Let us pray that life will soon return to normal for people and companies in Africa, and that we can tackle renewed progress in strengthening African-Japanese ties. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Asante sana. ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much, Mr. Karube. And indeed, we do not take this opportunity for granted to be here together and congregate and meet. We're not able to do that last year with the virtual ceremony that we had, but we nevertheless continue to be grateful for the strengthened ties between Japan and countries in Africa. Thank you, Mr. Karube, for that. And now I'd like to welcome Mr. Mutsuo Iwai, who's the chairman of the board of Japan Tobacco Incorporated. He's also the chairman of Japan Association of Corporate Executives and co-chair of the Japan Business Council for Africa. Welcome, Mr. Iwai.
Good morning, Jumbo. おはようございます。私は
I would like to speak in Japanese, please. Thank you so much for your kind introduction. I am honored to have the opportunity to speak today at the plenary session of the Japan-Africa Public-Private Economic Forum. First of all, congratulations to the government of Kenya, Japan, and all other African partners on holding this plenary session in person. Although it was postponed due to COVID-19, as a representative of Japanese private sector, I am pleased to participate and contribute to this plenary session of the Japan-Africa Public-Private Economic Forum, which will serve as one of the symbols of further partnership between Africa and Japan. We, Japanese private sector, firmly believe in Africa's great potential to become a global powerhouse for our future, and we hope to achieve mutual prosperity of Africa and Japan. For Africa's sustainable development, it is essential to prioritize the fields that are facing social issues directly related to African people's lives, such as healthcare, agriculture, and education. Regarding the resolution of these social issues, we had good discussions during the subcommittee held online in last December. For example, we confirmed that new types of business by leveraging digital technologies are emerging in Africa. In particular, 2 Japanese startups introduced their business cases, which are cloud storage of medical examination data for African mothers and the development of a matching service for buyers and sellers of agricultural products. In the Japan Business Council for Africa, JBCA, where I co-chair with the Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Chairman of the Sub-Saharan Committee of KDRM, we have been focused on this business trend with digital technologies. JBCA was established in 2019 for a constant discussion between Japanese public and private sectors. We have worked together to resolve social issues in Africa and improve the investment environment with Africa by setting and discussing 5 priority fields where we set working groups. One of the priority fields is healthcare, where we established a working group together with Healthcare Policy Department of Japanese Cabinet Secretariat. Since TICAD 7, where Africa Health and Wellbeing Initiative has announced, Healthcare Working Group with collaboration of Cabinet Secretariat has focused on researching healthcare situation in Africa and studies of new projects that can solve local issues. Also, Healthcare Working Group has held networking events among African and Japanese government officials, companies, and medical personnel. For example, in the beginning of 2022, we supported the online product demonstration events in Kenya and Ghana, hosted by Cabinet Secretariat. During these events, we have been able to introduce products with Japanese unique technologies, including attachment-type medical device that enables ophthalmological examinations by attaching it to smartphones, and information-sharing apps among healthcare professionals, including those in collaboration with electronic medical records. While I consider such promotion of business matching is certainly important, new measures are also needed. At TICAD ministerial meeting, Japan Foreign Minister Hayashi stated that Japan will propose specific measures to support solution-oriented businesses on social issues with particular focus on startups. As a private sector representative, I am also looking into ways to improve fundraising measures and additional measures for companies aiming to contribute for solving social issues in Africa. I am willing to further discuss this point with both the public and private sectors of Japan. As a measure to improve public supporting tools, I would like to highlight discussions of the JBCA's Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises Working Group, which is led by the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry. Specifically, the working group has gathered valuable feedback and opinions from Japanese startups operating in Africa regarding the improvement of public support schemes. This working group has also enhanced public-private discussions regarding support systems for SMEs, including startups. Additionally, from a long-term perspective of sustainable development in Africa, human resource development is hugely important. Africa Project team of Keizai Doyukai, we acknowledge the fact that we have been discussing how we could contribute to this. We can already see some of the fruits of Japan's long-term contribution to Africa in the areas in which we excel, for example, in the fields of human resource development and technology transfer, such as African Business Education Initiative for Youth and Japanese Operational Management, respectively. And we are keen to enhance this contribution in order to grow with Africa. For sustainable growth, the business environment is important. So we welcome the acceleration of regional integration through the AFCFTA initiative, as well as further development of bilateral investment treaties. In closing, on behalf of the Japanese private sector, I want to express our desire to partner with Africa to realize mutual sustainable growth for Agenda 2063 together. This forum will be an exciting new chapter of the African and Japanese bilateral relationship as we work in partnership to achieve Agenda 2063 together. To realize our potential, we will continue our discussions between Africa and Japan, as well as public-private discussions in Japan. Your Excellencies, African and Japanese partners, thank you for giving me this opportunity today.
Mr. Iwai, thank you very much. And indeed, those other representatives we've heard from the private sector in Japan, what wonderful presentations we've heard, as well as commitments to some of the discussions that we hope will be the outcome of our session here today. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Iwai. Now we'd like to hear from the private sector in Kenya. And it is my great pleasure to welcome Mr. Rajan Shah, who is the Vice Chairman of the Kenya Association of Manufacturers and is also Director of Capwell Industries Limited. Welcome, Mr. Shah.
Konnichiwa. Good morning. Ms. Betty Minor, Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development. Hosoda Kenichi, Japan State Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry. Suzuki Takako, Japan State Minister of Foreign Affairs. All Excellencies, ministers from Japan and Africa, distinguished guests from esteemed organizations, both private and public, from across Japan and the rest of Africa and Kenya. All protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to join in this very critical conversation today. Kenya Association of Manufacturers is a representative of manufacturing and value-add industries in Kenya. Since its inception in 1959, we have grown into a dynamic, vibrant, credible association that unites industrialists and offers a common voice for businesses. Through fact-based advocacy, CAM partners with government and its associated agencies and like-minded organizations and investors to promote robust industrial policies and to ensure a dynamic and flourishing manufacturing sector in Kenya. Through its membership of 1,300, it is represented in 14 very vibrant sectors. Kenya has been recognized as an investment destination due to, among other things, political and economic stability in the role it plays in the region. Being one of the largest economies in sub-Saharan Africa, Kenya has strong growth prospects supported by an emerging urban middle class and with an increasing appetite for high-value goods and services. Our strength lies in some of the following: a well-educated labor force, our financial services and information technology capabilities are amongst the most developed in the region. Our infrastructure is the most advanced among peers. We have access to vast agricultural resources, and we are home to some of the most innovative entrepreneurial talents. Kenya has come a long way in terms of creating a conducive business environment that will nurture local industries and attract foreign direct investment. Kenya continues to enjoy a cordial relationship with Japan. We value Japan's partnerships in advancing industrialization in Kenya through technical and financial support in the construction of social economic zones, energy, agriculture, and transport infrastructure that are key enablers for our industrialization goal. As a trading partner, we are aware that Japan the balance of trade is more in favor of Japan. Kenya exports annually, on average, $45 million worth of goods to Japan, primarily constituting agricultural produce. Japan, on the other side, exports to Kenya $850 million worth of goods, primarily on motor vehicles and accessories, iron and steel, and capital goods. Increased trade and investment cooperation between the two nations can help to bridge this trade deficit. Kenya being an agricultural economy, we take cognizance of some of the financial and technical support that Japan government through JICA has given us, in particular in the rice growing area. However, with the current global situation of food insecurity and global food inflation, it has become paramount that we increase our own food productivity through various means and technological advances of mechanization. It's towards this end that we look upon stronger partnerships with the Japanese companies and government to give us more of the technological know-how. On the other hand, Japan can also establish high and medium technology manufacturing hubs in this country through direct foreign investment programs with a view of exploiting the natural resources locally available, in particular creating jobs and enhancing our import substitution strategy and knowledge transfer. On human resource development, there is an increasing demand for skilled workers in industries in Kenya, and demand for improved quality of goods and services that meet international standards. Knowledge transfer and development between Kenya and Japan will stimulate the creation of a sustainable development process and promote investment, innovation, and particularly for the manufacturing sector. On this note, I'm happy to say that Kenya Association of Manufacturers has partnered with the Association for Overseas Technical Cooperation and Sustainable Partnerships, AOTS, to drive human resource development. This is with the support of the Japan Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, METI. Through this partnership, we aim at enhancing business ties between CAM members and Japanese companies. Additionally, to encourage increased uptake of the Kaizen culture and shift towards lean manufacturing, using automation tools such as the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. We heard today a lot about sustainability. Today, we are faced with two major challenges as a nation: achieving economic growth whilst remaining steadfast in our vision for a clean and healthy environment. And manufacturers are committed to transitioning to a green economy as a means towards sustainable development. Towards this end, Kenya has an opportunity to partner with Japan in promoting a green economy through investments in green technology, including skills transfer and solutions. In conclusion, today's forum seeks to enhance collaboration between Japanese and Kenyan manufacturing industry to create a win-win solution. The more we increase our collaboration in driving the efficiency of our local industry, not only will we realize both our economic goals, but also create wealth and increase the purchasing power of all our citizens. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shah, and for indeed reiterating that it is a win-win, mutually beneficial partnership, economic partnership between Japan and the various African nations that are represented here this morning. And now I'd like to welcome our next speaker. That's Mr. Samuel Matonda. He's the CEO of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Karibu sana, Mr. Matonda. Give him a warm round of applause, please.
Chief Guest, Honorable Betty Maina, Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development, Mr. Kenichi Hosoda, State Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan, Mr. Kako Suzuki, State Minister for Foreign Affairs of Japan, JETRO President, Excellencies, Ambassadors present, and ministers from Africa and Japan, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I think it's afternoon now. I'd like to start by saying Karibu Nairobi and Karibu Africa. Welcome to Africa. I participated in the first Japan-Africa forum, and indeed what has been presented is a true reflection of how we benefited, and we looked at the innovative areas of collaboration. Your Excellencies, I want to reiterate that the Chamber of Commerce and Industry was established in 1965 with a mandate to protect and develop the interests of the business community. And we're here because of business. So the Chamber has an international network of 177 chambers and regional networks, as well as a countrywide outreach in all the 47 counties in the country. The Chamber plan envisages a vibrant and prosperous business community with the mission of facilitating and promoting a sustainable business environment for economic growth and prosperity. We, as the Chamber, operate on 4 pillars, that is policy and advocacy, which I know the business community really wants, trade development, SME development, as one speaker, the chairman, said that there is an area that you are focusing on MSMEs, and there is a working group which is focusing on the startups. So we are really key on that. And of course, county development, so that development is devolved across all the 47 counties in the country. The function of the chamber includes promoting, coordinating, and also protecting the commercial interests and industrial interests of our members who span across all those counties, and there are more than 45,000 with affiliated members of up to 7 million. Your Excellencies, we are happy to note that Japan's economic engagement with Kenya is strong and quite extensive. And through JICA, who has continued to support Kenya to strengthen its economic infrastructure, agriculture, skills and environment and health. And while there, I want to mention that I'm one of the beneficiaries of the JICA program because you constructed the Jomo Kenyatta University of Science and Technology, and I was a student there, and proudly so, because I know exactly what you did to us as students, and we are beneficiaries of the same. So some of the main projects were proposed under the framework of TICAD that has been said earlier, including the construction of Dongo Kundu Economic Zone. They will carry a geothermal power project that has also been mentioned. The expansion of the support of Mombasa ports are vital for the stable foundation for the modernization and industrialization of our country. Japanese firms are among top ranking in Kenya's foreign investment, and already the chairman of Toyota Kusho has said it, and I want to mention that Kenya has already witnessed improved foreign direct investment from these companies, such as Toyota and Nissan, which has already been presented. And they have created jobs and improved skill transfer in manufacturing and vehicle assembly industries. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that Kenya is really providing a competitive and innovative economic environment, resilience in business community, skillful and competitive workforce, which is evident, adequate infrastructural facilities across the country. We also have well-developed banking and financial sector, very powerful and very strong in the region, actually, a ready market for fast-moving consumer goods, and it's also a regional hub for the ESC, the East African Community. Not forgetting the African Free Continental Trade Area, whereby if you, through investments in Kenya, you are able to penetrate and really conquer Africa from this part of the world. The trade balance between Kenya and Japan is in favor of Japan, despite what Honorable Cabinet Secretary said, which is important that for Africa, it is actually two-way and somehow balanced, and we really look forward to having it balanced in Kenya through the investment that we are foreseeing here. Mainly what we export is raw products, fruits, vegetables, and we look forward to having us exporting more value-added products because of the kind of investment that we are foreseeing. And the opportunities that we are looking at are in tourism. We have a lot of opportunities in agriculture and agribusiness. We have immense opportunities in ICT, and you know that Kenya is ahead when it comes to ICT innovation and adoption, so there are immense opportunities there. Power and energy, there are still more opportunities in addition to what you've already invested in. Healthcare and pharmaceuticals, I'm glad to say that yes, there are even more startups coming up, trying to see how they can connect the data and link up all different facilities with whatever information that is available. And of course, manufacturing, I'll not say more because already the Vice Chair of Kenya Association of Manufacturers, Mr. Rajan Shah, has really elaborated about the 14 sectors in manufacturing, and most of these are actually also our members, and we really support them. So by investing in the above sectors, Japan can use Kenya as a gateway to penetrate other African countries through the AfCFTA, that's African Continental Free Trade Area. And Kenya is also a member of several other regional blocs, including the East African Community and also COMESA. To close, I want to say that there is need for us to look at enhancing and strengthening the economic ties between Kenya and Japan. And the programs that have been discussed about, most of them are in the big four agenda: food security, affordable housing, and also on technological cooperation. A lot of information exchange. I know you are very much vast and ahead when it comes to capacity building, and we also beneficiaries, our staff are being trained by JICA and JETRO. We're also looking at exchange of trade and technical information. Of course, also training, capacity building, and that could be cemented when we look at more memoranda of understanding being signed amongst the African business investors and the Japanese investors, and more so the Kenyan investors, because through that we'll be able to really move forward, have a discussion. I know Japan, we now have a discussion, we agree, we trust, we build the trust, and then we continue and conquer Africa, as well as we also conquer Japan through our products. In conclusion, the Kenyan private sector welcomes collaboration between companies from Japan and Kenya in high-value investments, which will be of benefit to both. Once again, welcome to the second Japan-Africa Public-Private Economic Forum in Nairobi, Kenya, in Africa. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Mr. Samuel Matonda, thank you very, very much for that. And our final speech today from the private sector on the Kenyan side. Last but certainly not least, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a warm round of applause for Ms. Carol Kariuki. She's the Chief Executive Officer of Kenya's Private Sector Alliance. Welcome, Ms. Kariuki.
Thank you very, very much, and I'm glad to be winding this up for us. But let me recognize our chief guest, Honorable Betty Maina, Cabinet Secretary of the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade, our two guest ministers, Mr. Kenichi Hosada, State Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan, Mr. Takako Suzuki, State Minister of Foreign Affairs of Japan, President of JETRO, Titans of Industry, all distinguished guests, good afternoon. I know we are due for lunch in a short while, but good afternoon. Please encourage me. I'm battling from jet lag, so I just arrived this morning, so a good response would be very good to keep me awake. Good to see you, Chairman of Officials, after such a long time, and good to have you here. But allow me to join my previous speakers to really welcome you to this second Japan-Africa Public-Private Economic Forum being held here in Nairobi. So I must say karibuni sana to our great city, and I hope for those who are visiting for the first time, this will not be a stop here at Serena, but you will visit the country, you will visit the neighboring areas, and just get to enjoy the hospitality and the beauty of Kenya. I would also want to really be grateful that we can actually hold this in person. We know how last year was. We really wanted to have this meeting, but we couldn't because of COVID. And so we are so grateful that finally we can meet. And we really now do appreciate the power of partnership and the power of being able to meet together because of what COVID taught us. But also, I think there's a lot to share with us among the strategies that we all learned about COVID. How do we tackle COVID? It's not over. I think we are seeing a downside, but we don't know what tomorrow will be. But as we engage, can we share some of the strategies? How do we make sure that our economies do not go back to where they were in the height of COVID? And how do we really build back together and better as two economies, Africa and Japan? And I'm so confident that this forum will come up with some of those ideas. For those who do not know KEPSA, let me just introduce us, that we are the private sector, the apex body of the private sector in Kenya, have a good relationship with Japanese Business Federation and other organizations in Japan. We bring together local and foreign business associations, federations, chamber of commerce, professional bodies, corporates, including multinationals, large and medium-sized corporates, SMEs, and startups. And so there's a lot for us to do together. And also we do support businesses with opportunities for training, networking, financial linkages, mentorship, coaching, access to markets, value chains, and investment opportunities with many partners around the world. And we also host the International Chamber of Commerce, Kenya. So if you're here and you need to engage with the International Chamber of Commerce, please do let us know, and we do host that. We've also been a big part of TICAD. We co-hosted TICAD 2016, the private sector session, and as KEPSA, we did speak on the behalf of the private sector of Africa, and we know Japanese Business Federation did speak on behalf of Japan. And out of that, we did see investments. We've seen about 116% change from 2016 to 2020 inflows of FDI only in Kenya. And I'm sure for those who are coming from other parts of Africa, can speak of what they have seen since then, TICAD and TICAD 7, and now we're going into TICAD 8. But for us who hosted TICAD 6, we did see that big change, and we're looking forward, even as we host you today, that we will see continuous growth. I'd also like further to reinforce the confidence and ensure that Kenya, through numerous development and reforms, has positioned herself as a gateway into the African market. We've talked about ACFTA, and when we think about ACFTA, we are gearing up to get into the rest of Africa. And what a time to work with Japan at this time, so that we are strong and we can get to the rest of Africa. And if you base yourself here, let me be proud to speak as a Kenyan, that you have access to the largest free trade area. And so we welcome you to base your businesses here, and I'm sure Toyota and others can share some of their experiences. We've closely worked with the public sector to ensure that we are ready to tap into the opportunities presented by the African market. We have coordinated in the areas of reform, and if you allow me, I'll just mention 3 areas that I know are very keen for businesses: the company law, the insolvency law, and minority law. And the company law has been made it very easy so that one can start a business, including for single directorship. So if you're here as one director, do not worry about how you're going to start your business. You can do that. And moreover, the law has strengthened minority investor protection by introducing greater requirements for disclosure of for related party transactions to the board of directors, by making it easier to sue directors in cases of prejudicial related party transactions, and by allowing the recession of related party transactions that are shown to harm the company. On the Insolvency Act, which closely follows the insolvency framework of the United Kingdom, introduced the mechanism of administration, a form of reorganization that allows insolvent companies to continue operating while negotiating a settlement with creditors. So we're really proud at how the regulation environment is changing and making it easier for businesses. And with a stable and predictable business environment in Kenya, public-private partnerships will thrive. We record the available of opportunities in specific sectors that would help in transform our country and would encourage our peers from Japan to invest in. Some of these areas, some of them have been mentioned, so I'll not repeat those that have been mentioned, but let me include aquaculture, business development, including establishing and strengthening business-oriented aquaculture organizations, development of fish quality laboratories, and we know how Japan has done so well in some of these areas, so we really, really want to tap into expertise and to work together and form joint ventures in some of these. Development and expansion of multi-purpose dam to enhance our agriculture production, spar manufacturing, as was mentioned by our member association KM, input and integrate our products into the regional value chains as we focus into tapping the ACFTA. Also, as I finish, since I do not want to speak a lot has been said by both the Japan business representative and the Kenyan representative. Japanese companies here with us today are from various sectors, as financial, insurance, green technology, manufacturing, construction, digitization, meat processing, electro and machine apparels, amongst others, which are vibrant sectors. So to our Kenyan, to our African investors, please do meet with these people. Do network. During the B2B, please do engage and let's build businesses. We want to see more of our businesses. Our strategic focus as KEPSA this year is to develop on the premise of partnerships and collaborations. I had the privilege a few weeks ago to meeting the Japanese ambassador to Kenya, His Excellency Okinawa Ken, and together we agreed to work on the following areas of partnership and collaborations for purposes of growing trade and investments between Kenya and Japan. Investing in science and technology, education, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, healthcare, again, that was mentioned earlier, vocational training, as we've done a lot with JICA before, access to affordable finance for businesses, infrastructure development in rail and road to improve connectivity. We can also look further into value addition on teas, such as sencha tea. And for those who are from Japan, you really, really love sencha tea, but it's a worldwide tea that is loved, and it's growing in Kenya. So we'd really want to see you work with us to really value add our tea to sencha tea. We do a lot of flowers, and you know we have increased our exports of flowers, but we want to value add our flowers into perfumes, into essential oils, so that we're not just selling flowers as they are. And those are just some. Pyrethrum, we grow pyrethrum. We want to be able to process insect repellent, among many other products. And I'm just mentioning these 3, saying that we've used them before as primary exports, as was mentioned by my counterpart in Kenya Chamber of Commerce, but we want to look at them as value add and into products that we've not always traditionally made for the world. And so the private sector in the region is very well organized and supportive, vibrant sectoral business associations. You've had 2 of them this morning, and we do play a role as KEPSA to bring into together the private sector at the national level in Kenya and East Africa, at East Africa Business Council and COMESA Business Council, among others, to play regionally. So if you engage with us, we are happy to introduce you to the rest of the private sector in the region and in COMESA. And as you've seen, the East African community has grown with DRC joining in, and so your access to a bigger market, to big investment opportunities just increase. And so I take this early opportunity to thank you and to end by saying, Africa is a bride, and we have many suitors. Will you be among them? Asanteni.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carol Kariuki, the CEO of the Kenya Private Sector Alliance. So that concludes our speeches this afternoon, but we also want to ask you to give us a few moments for a changeover that is taking place here on the podium, because we're moving to another important phase of our session here. Please remain seated. We are setting up for the next important session where we will be highlighting the MOUs that have been signed by Japanese and African companies and government agencies. Now is the time for the MOU ceremony. And over the next few minutes, we will be showcasing MOUs that have been signed by Japanese and African companies as well as government agencies. And for this session, I would like to request the indulgence and invite once again our three government ministers on the stage as witnesses of these agreements. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give another warm round of applause to our three ministers. Honorable Ms. Betty Maina, the Cabinet Secretary for Industrialization, Trade and Enterprise Development of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Kenichi Hosoda, State Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry in Japan, and Ms. Takako Suzuki, State Minister for Foreign Affairs in Japan. Ministers, please make your way here on the podium. Take your seats as you prepare to witness these agreements. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I will now introduce the names of the companies and the institutions that have signed MOUs. I will read these out in order, and I would kindly ask that when you hear the name of your organization as a representative, please make your way here on stage behind our ministers for us to be able to recognize you and recognize these MOUs. Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you 18 MOUs between Japanese and African companies and governments. We start off with the partnership between Toyota Tsusho's affiliate CFAO and Good Life Pharmacy. The representatives from Toyota Tsusho Corporation and Good Life Pharmacy, please make your way here on stage. Toyota Tsusho Corporation's affiliate CFAO SAS acquired close to 30% of the shares in Good Life Pharmacies, East Africa's leading retail pharmacy chain, last March. This marks CFAO and Toyota Tsusho's first entry into the retail pharmacy industry in Africa. By combining Good Life's retail pharmacy network and brand and CFAO's existing wholesaling capabilities and product portfolio, Toyota Tsusho and CFAO will contribute to improving access to high-quality pharmaceuticals in East Africa. Thank you very much, representatives. You may leave the stage and take your seats. Our next MOU is Toyota Tsusho Group, that is accelerating carbon neutrality among subsidiaries in East Africa, with Kenya as a focus country. This agreement is between Toyota Tsusho Corporation and Ofgen Limited. I would invite the representatives of Ofgen on stage. CFAO Kenya. Welcome, representatives. CFAO Kenya has collaborated with Ofgen Limited for the last 3 years to install 4 solar systems in CFAO facilities in Kenya and 2 solar systems in CFAO facilities in Uganda. CFAO is pleased by Ofgen's workmanship and will continue to leverage their expertise to accelerate solarization of the remaining CFAO facilities in Eastern Africa by 2024, according to the group target. Solarizing CFAO facilities is a key agenda towards achieving the group's initial milestone of reducing the carbon dioxide footprint by 50% in 2030. This close collaboration reflects Toyota Tsusho Group's philosophy of with Africa, for Africa, that seeks to grow with the people and communities of Africa and aims to expand the use of renewable energy in order to deliver a better global environment to the children of the future. Congratulations. Thank you, everyone. I would like us to move to the next MOU for development of Isiolo Solar Project Kenya. Once again, Toyota Tsusho Corporation, we ask you to stay on stage. And this one is between Toyota Tsusho Corporation and the Kenya Investment Authority. As they make their way up here, I will take you through this MOU. The Isiolo Project, Solar Project Kenya, is a utility-scale 52 megawatt solar PV project, which has been developed by Toyota Tsusho Corporation, Japan, Total Energies, France, and Green Millennia Energy, Kenya, as Japan, France, Kenya Joint Investment Project. The project is located in Isiolo, which is one of the most important areas of the Lapset Corridor project under Kenya's Vision 2030. Almost all the project development activities have been completed, and now it is being aimed to reach financial close and commence the construction at the earliest possible time. The clean and locally generated electricity will be provided at the lowest cost among other solar projects in Kenya once the project gets under commercial operation. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations on this MOU for the Isiolo Solar Project in Kenya. Move on closer. Come on closer. And once again, be sure to smile. This is a great moment. I want us to move to our next MOU, and that is for joint initiatives on Vehicle KD project. Thank you, ministers, by the way, for your indulgence. Please continue to remain with us on the podium. This next MOU is for Toyota Tsusho Corporation and the Associated Vehicle Assemblers Limited, AVA. Please make your way on stage. The Associated Vehicle Assemblers Limited, AVA, and Toyota Tsusho Corporation, TTC Group, concluded an MOU in vehicle manufacturing category to delineate mutual interests and strategic partnership towards exploring key initiatives. AVA and TTC Group have started production of Toyota vehicle consigning since 1977, and they have kept the strong relationship until today. This MOU strengthens this relationship between both parties. In this MOU, AVA and TTC Group agreed to proceed continuous Kaizen activity under the way of the Toyota production system. According to this activity, AVA will continue to improve operation levels in Kenya to achieve quality stabilization. Through this MOU, AVA and TTC Group will explore contributions to Kenyan society through the manufacturing segment. Congratulations once again on the ongoing relationship over the last decades. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And we proceed with our MOUs here this afternoon. The next one is between C Squared and the government of Togo to create a joint venture of broadband business in Togo. This agreement is between Mitsui and Company Limited and C-Squared Link Holdings Mauritius Limited. As they make their way up to the podium, I will take you through the details of this MOU. Mitsui is one of major shareholders of C-Squared, which is an open access fiber wholesaler in Uganda, Ghana, and Liberia at present. C-Squared was on a joint venture with the government of Togo, will put in place the next generation of connected infrastructure on which the digital ecosystem, the economy, and the government can ride. Beyond the landing of Google's Equiano in Togo, the joint venture will also manage and roll out fiber metros and national backbone across the country, moving Togo forward on its quest to become a digital hub in West Africa, with connectivity into neighboring countries of Ghana, Benin, and Burkina Faso. Thank you, gentlemen, very much for that. Our next MOU here this afternoon is a joint FS for the development of the mini hydropower station project. This one is between Mitsui and Company Limited and KTDA Power Company Limited, also known as KTDA Power. Kenya has abundant renewable energy resources, with hydropower being a major source of electricity for a long time. This can further be harnessed by setting up micro hydropower plants. Mitsui initiated discussions with KTDA Power to set up such plants utilizing high-efficiency micro hydropower generation systems developed by Dakin Power. This will contribute to the country's low-carbon pathway and reduce energy costs for KTDA tea factories. Thank you. And on to our next MOU. Thank you so much, sir, for staying with us, because our next MOU is on the biojet fuel project between Mitsui and Company Limited and Ethiopia Airlines Group. International Air Transportation Association has set the target to reduce by half the carbon dioxide by the year 2050. International Renewable Energy Agency expects demands of biofuel at 2050 as 50% the amount of jet fuel as of today. Japanese technology company is developing technology to produce new algae for biofuel. Mitsui is discussing with Ethiopian Airlines to produce the pilot plant project utilizing Japanese technology in Ethiopia for future huge demand of biojet fuel. Thank you very much. Please stay with us. Our next MOU, he is still with us, not to worry. Our next MOU is between Mitsui and Company Limited and Aqua Power. This is an MOU, it's a joint FS for the development of gas, geothermal, biomass, hydroelectric power plant projects, green hydrogen, green ammonia, and micro hydropower projects in Eastern and Southern Africa. Over 640 million Africans lack access to electricity, yet Africa is rich in energy sources, according to AFDB in 2019. Africa needs to realize its huge energy potential to power its homes and businesses, and will need huge investments in the coming years. Mitsui started discussions with Aqua Power to jointly develop gas, geothermal, biomass, hydropower plant projects, and to develop green hydrogen and green ammonia projects in Eastern and Southern Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you this MOU. Our next MOU is a memorandum of cooperation between the Office of Healthcare Policy, the Cabinet Secretariat of Japan, the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare of Japan, and the Ministry of Health of the Republic of Kenya. Honorable Mutahi Kagwe, the Cabinet Secretary for Health of Kenya, and Mr. Horie Royichi, the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Japan to the Republic of Kenya, signed an MOC under Japan's Africa Health and Wellbeing Initiative on the 7th of December. The MOC is expected to facilitate private business activities in health-related fields and to promote universal health coverage in Kenya. The fields of cooperation include prevention, early detection and management of communicable and non-communicable diseases, improving reproductive, maternal and child health services, and capacity building. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you this memorandum of cooperation between Kenya and Japan. Our next one is a Memorandum of Understanding on Program and Human Resource Development for Industry 4.0 in Kenya. This is between the Association for Overseas Technical Cooperation and Sustainable Partnerships and the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. We ask the representatives to make their way here as I take you through this Memorandum of Understanding. Welcome, representatives. Now, for further advancing of the manufacturing industry of Kenya, Kenya Association of Manufacturers and the Association of Overseas Technical Cooperation Partnerships have been designing and implementing human resource development initiatives with a focus on the realization of Industry 4.0 in Kenya. With the conclusion of this MOU, the two parties expressed their willingness for continuous cooperation on the Human Resource Development Program. Congratulations on this. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for that, and congratulations on the work done. Our next MOU, ladies and gentlemen, is between TDB and NEXI. I ask the representatives of Nippon Export and Investment Insurance, NEXI, and the Eastern and Southern African Trade and Development Bank, TDB, to make their way here for this next one. Nippon Export and Investment Insurance and Eastern and Southern Africa Trade and Development Bank have signed a memorandum of cooperation on promoting economic development of Africa, business opportunities between member countries and Japanese companies, as well as decarbonization and high-quality infrastructure development in Africa. By strengthening their relationship, the institutions aim to promote trade and investment in Africa by Japanese companies towards TICAD 8. Congratulations. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for that, and congratulations once again on that partnership. I would invite the representative of NEXI to remain with us. Thank you very much, sir, because our next partnership is between Afri-Exim Bank and NEXI, the Nippon Export and Investment Insurance and the African Export-Import Bank. Thank you very much, sir, for making your way here and joining us. The Nippon Export and Investment Insurance and African Export-Import Bank have partnered on promoting economic development of Africa, business opportunities between member countries and Japanese companies, as well as decarbonization and high-quality infrastructure development in Africa. By strengthening their relationship, the institutions aim to promote trade and investment in Africa by Japanese companies towards TICAD 8. Congratulations, and thank you very much, gentlemen, for that. Our next MOU, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for your patience. Our next MOU is between DFP and AVCA to facilitate partnerships between Japanese and African private and public sectors, as well as supporting the startup ecosystem in Africa, it is between Double Feather Partners, DFP, and the African Private Equity and Venture Capital Association, AVCA. May we have their representatives joining us here. DFP and AVCA intend to form a strategic partnership to foster greater connection between Japanese and African investors and startups to support Japanese investors explore opportunities on the African continent. Both parties will collaborate to host activities in the year 2022 around the promotion of Africa as a prime venture capital investment destination, specifically through conferences and events. Congratulations and thank you very much, sir. And we kindly ask you to remain with us on stage, representative from Double Feather Partners, because the next MOU is between DFP and MOL to enhance innovation in African agriculture and logistics sector and support implementation of Japanese agricultural machinery into the African market. DFP and Kilimall, a subsidiary of one of the largest shipping and freight firms in Japan called MOL, intends to form a partnership to facilitate innovation in African agriculture sector by leveraging Japanese agriculture machinery and goods. DFP, in return, will support the business development in the local market starting from Kenya. The collaboration will begin from machineries, but can extend to broader sectors, including logistics and the cold supply chain. Congratulations once again on this one. And next, we thank you for your continued patience. Double Feather Partners has obviously been very busy. The next MOU is between DFP and Africarena to partner to bridge the innovation ecosystems between Japan and Africa to increase investments by Japanese corporates to African startups. DFP and Africarena, which is one of the major African startup platforms operating in various countries, South Africa, Kenya, Tunisia, and Senegal, form a strategic partnership to foster greater collaborative effort between Japan and Africa to bridge their innovation ecosystems to increase deal flows and investments by Japanese corporates to Africa. They will also work together in 2022 to provide the common ground for networking opportunities and strong entry access to the local ecosystem. And this will support the Japanese corporates' investments in Africa. Thank you very much for that. Now, our next MOU, ladies and gentlemen, is still between Double Feather Partners and Africa Health Business, facilitating partnerships between Japanese and African healthcare sectors, as well as supporting the startup ecosystem in Africa. DFP and Africa Health Business, AHB, intend to form a strategic partnership to foster great connection amongst African and Japanese healthcare ecosystem players, and also to provide access to capital and expertise to innovative healthcare startups. DFP will leverage its network of Japanese corporates and investors, while AHB will bring its vast networks in Africa, including the private sector, NGOs, development agencies, and global healthcare institutions. Congratulations to Double Feather Partners and Africa Health Business. And now, sir, you may finally take your seat. Thank you very much for indulging us here on stage. I would like to now call on the representatives of Marubeni Corporation and Stallion Group for our next MOU of comprehensive collaboration between Marubeni and Stallion. Stallion Group is a conglomerate founded in Nigeria in 1969, presently headquartered in Dubai. The group is one of the largest conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa with extensive international presence in 18 countries with 72 locations. Stallion is engaged in commodities, agriculture, automobile assembly, automobile distributorship, food products, industries, FMCG, mining, steel manufacturing, real estate, financial services, technology, logistics, and shipping. This MOU covers initially those Nigerian businesses. Congratulations to both Marubeni Corporation and Stallion Group. Thank you, sir. Please stay with us, if you can. The MOU for offtake methanol. This is last but certainly not least, ladies and gentlemen. This MOU is for offtake methanol between Marubeni Corporation and Brass Fertilizer and Petrochemical Company Limited. Brass Fertilizer and Petrochemical Company Limited is developing a methanol plant at Brass Island in Nigeria's Bayelsa State. The plant will come on stream in 2025 and will produce 3.5 million metric tons per annum of methanol. Congratulations to both organizations, and thank you once again. Thank you, sir. You may take your seats. And I'd like to say thank you and congratulations once again to all of the organizations that have been presented here on the continued collaboration between Japan and Africa. Thank you as well, ladies and gentlemen. This concludes our MOU ceremony. I would like to thank all the participants, but most importantly, our distinguished ministers. We thank you very much, Cabinet Secretary Maina, Mr. Hosoda, and Madam Suzuki. Thank you very much. You may please take your seats. We thank you for indulging with us. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before we conclude our morning session here, what is our time together without memorializing that in photos? Please give us just one moment. We would like to take a photograph with all of you and remember this very important session we have had here. Allow us to just do a quick setup of that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your patience. We're now ready for our general photo session. I would like to call each of the individuals on stage. They will join us, and once you all are here on stage, and then we will take that group photo. So I would like to invite once again our gracious ministers. Thank you very much for indulging us, Ms. Betty Maina, Mr. Hosoda, and Ms. Suzuki, as well as Ambassador Peter Kaberia, the Principal Secretary, Minister of Industrialization in Kenya. Please join us up here on stage. Next, I would like to invite all our speakers from our speech session 1. All our speakers who joined us from the private sector in Kenya and Japan, please join us on stage. We invite all our speakers from our speech session 1 on stage. And they will now be followed by our government ministers from across the continent. I would like to invite Mr. Doir Dul Kamal, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Union of the Comoros, His Excellency Mr. Jean-Lucien Boussa, the Minister of Foreign Trade of the Democratic Republic of Congo, His Excellency Dr. Engineer Sultan Wali, State Minister of Water and Energy of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, also Honorable Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempe, the Minister of Energy of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Mr. Silvino Augusto Jose Moreno, the Minister of Industry and Commerce of the Republic of Mozambique, Honorable Agok Makur Kur, the Deputy Minister, Ministry of Finance, Republic of South Sudan. Thank you very much, ministers, for your time here and for coming. And finally, I would also like to ask on stage the individual representatives of the African countries to come on stage. You may all come up at once, and we can have you all together to take this photo with us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for indulging us with the general photo session. Please take your seats as I let you know where we head to next. Thank you very, very much, ladies and gentlemen, for that. And now that we have finished the photo session, and as everybody leaves the stage, I would like to invite you to our next session, which is lunch. Our staff members are here. They will guide you from the stage and out the room. Everyone, please give a warm round of applause to our ministers and our speakers here this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for a successful morning session. We'll see you back here